Flight. Noun. Journey by air. 1. Countable. A journey made by air, especially in a plane. A smooth, comfortable, bumpy flight. A domestic, an international flight. A hot air balloon flight. We met on a flight from London to Paris. All flights between New York and Washington have been cancelled due to fog. See also in flight. Serrated entries. Plane travel. Plane. 2. Countable. A plane making a particular journey. We are booked on the same flight. Flight BA 4793 is now boarding at gate 710. If we leave now, I can catch the earlier flight. Mercy, we leave flights. Planes taking help to countries where there is a war. Flying. 3. Uncountable. The act of flying. The edge of supersonic flight. Flight safety. The bird is easily recognized in flight when it is flying by the black band at the end of its tail. Movement of object. 4. Uncountable. The movement or direction of an object as it travels through the air. The flight of a ball. Up steps. 5. Countable. A series of steps between two floors or levels. She fell down a flight of steps, and hurt her back. Running away. 6. Uncountable. Singular. The act of running away from a dangerous or difficult situation. The flight of refugees from the advancing forces. A flight from harsh reality. The main character is a journalist in flight from a failed marriage. Of fancy. Imagination. 7. Countable. Flight of fancy. Imagination. An idea or a statement that shows a lot of imagination but is not practical or sensible. This idea was one of my wilder flights of fancy. Group of birds. Aircraft. 8. Countable. A group of birds or aircraft flying together. A flight of geese. They flew in 2 flights of 3 aircraft. An aircraft of the Queen's flight. Serrated entries. Groups of animals. Extra examples. All flights have been grounded for security reasons. As soon as they detected the cheetah, it took flight. Barn owls are capable of flight at 56 days. Bats are the only mammals to have achieved sustained flight. Bats are the only mammals to have wings and to achieve sustained flight. Did you have a good flight? Don't get into the line of flight of the bees. You'd be sure to get stung. He asked her to book him on the next available flight to Geneva. I got to the airport early to be ready for the first flight out. I hope you enjoy the flight. I'm afraid I can't book you onto that flight as it's full. I'm on the first flight to Milan in the morning. If you need to change a flight, the fee is $100. Left-wing opposition leaders, in flight from persecution, went across the border. My office is just up that flight of stairs. Please refrain from smoking during the flight. She flew into London on the last flight from Frankfurt. She took a flight for Los Angeles. She was accused of planting the bomb that blew up Flight 217. The UN has suspended relief flights because of shelling around the airport. The Wright brothers made their first flight in the Kitty Hawk in 1903. The airplane made its maiden flight in 1976. The aircraft made its maiden flight in January 2000. The airline operates regular flights to Greece. The army was defeated, and the king put to flight. The bumpy flight brought on a bout of airsickness. The club has chartered a special flight from Manchester to Bologna for their fans. The first prize is a return flight to Delhi. The flight recorder should help to establish why the plane suddenly crashed. The flight time from Heathrow to Marseille is less than 2 hours. The flight was diverted to Delhi because of a bomb scare. The office is just around that corner and up a short flight of stairs. The outbound flight was smooth, but the return flight was held up by 6 hours. The snow was severe enough to disrupt flight operations. The story tells of his flight from East to West Berlin. The story tells of his flight to safety. The team has chartered a special flight for their fans. The villa is fronted by a double flight of stairs. The wings vibrate during flight. They caught an early flight back to Boston. They have persuaded the authorities to divert the flight path of the military jets away from their town. They waited for the first flight out of London. They watched the young eagles take flight. This will be the last flight of the vintage aircraft before it is installed in the museum. We arrived at the airport just in time to make our flight. We managed to get a non-stop flight to New York. We need your time of arrival and flight number. Your travel insurance compensates you for flight delays. A flight bound for Antigua. A flight from Sydney to Tokyo. A flight into the unknown. A flight of steps leading to the foyer. A flock of geese in flight. A headlong flight from danger. A routine Air Force training flight. Passengers aboard a flight bound for Johannesburg. The enormous costs of manned space flight. The line of flight of a golf ball. All international and domestic flights were suspended. Enjoy your flight. Flight 420 to Oslo is now boarding at gate 23. He began to feel ill during the return flight. Hurry, or you'll miss your flight. I caught the flight from London to Riga. I got a seat on an earlier flight. Our flight had been cancelled. She made several training flights in the glider. The bird is easily recognized in flight. The flight was exceptionally bumpy. The spacecraft was lost on its maiden flight. UN relief flights were bringing food into the area. We met on a flight from New York to San Francisco. We were offered a flight in a hot air balloon. We are booked on the same flight. You can book your flight online.